That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
What is up, my fam? We're back for another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm your host, as always, Steve Rochelle. Got a special guest host joining me to my right, my good friend here, Mr. Bob Maloney from My MMA News. And my favorite delinquent is nailed down below, stuffing his face. Apparently, food was more important to start off the show today. Mr. Zachary Burr, how are we doing this afternoon?
I was doing fine before you came in short of when we talked about. I said, give me 2 minutes. Give me one.
Dude, come on. You know I was going to put you on place. Come on. I love you. I love you. You know I love you.
Well, hold on. No. You know you love me. Hold on. Because I went the fucking umpire today, literally left my house at 7:30, worked my first game at 9 this morning, and did not get back till 7:30 tonight. And in that whole time, I ate one time, and that was at 8 o'clock this morning. So I don't want to hear your nonsense about how food is more important. Motherfucker, without a show and without food, we're not even going to have a show, okay? Without me stuffing my face, we're not having a show tonight. How's that for Zach's rant of the day?
Yeah, well, there's a little precursor into Zach's rants of the week. That's going to be a new thing here that we're going to do here. But obviously, you know, we're going to have a fun one lined up here. We're going to have Joe Stripling joining us here in a second. We're going to do some live reactions for the Cleveland Cavaliers and Sixers. It's not looking really good for our boys right now. They're down 51-39. About 3:03 left in the second. You know, going to talk some Tiger Woods news. You know, our thoughts on the crash and stuff like that. Obviously, Mr. Burr said Mr. Woods was a must topic this afternoon. We're going to talk some MMA, get some live reactions to the preliminary for tonight's UFC's fight night. But without any further ado, let's hop in here real quick with our guest for this afternoon. Lion fight heavyweight, Mr. Joe Stripling. Joe, how are we doing, my friend?
What's up, gentlemen? How we doing, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's definitely a pleasure, man. Heard you had a big one lined up here, getting ready to Lion Fights heavyweight title. Figure, what better time to bring you on, talk some Muay Thai, talk some combat sports, and check out.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. You guys were letting me know I was going to be on an interview, so I had to go get an extra workout in a Planet Fitness right here. So I just freshly showered, fresh T-shirt, fresh hoodie. I feel great.
That's awesome. See, Zach, you're able to give Joe an extra workout today because you went in the umpire. See, I
appreciate you, Zach, and enjoy your food, man. Food is delicious.
I appreciate you. Okay, I'm glad that y'all are all fresh. You were supposed to be my savior here, man. Like, you getting all freshened up now makes me look even worse because I'm straight from umpiring, all sweaty, the hair's all over the place. So now I'm the kind of the guy that has to look like the slob, and we're going to disappoint a lot of people, Stephen. I'm telling you. We're going to disappoint a lot of people, Stephen.
Honestly, the way you look right now, you look amazing.
Oh. How about that, ladies?
We usually have some trolls in the chat always making fun of the beards and Zach hair and stuff like that. But Zach has to put an end to all that stuff all the time. So all right, let's talk about
What's going on, brother Joe? How you feeling, man?
MMA veteran.
What's up, Bob? How we doing, Bob?
Yep, there it is.
Sorry, I haven't seen Bob in a while. This COVID stuff's really been ruining everybody's fun times at fight shows. So, Bob, it's great to see you, man. You look great, living the dream at a solid 25 years old.
Right?
Yeah,
I
for
feel
sure.
25.
That's right.
Listen,
I like
Joe,
it. I like it.
I got a question for you, Joe.
Sure, man.
I got a question for you. All right, listen. And I think if you gave credit to somebody for you in the position where you are right now, I know right at the top of the list will be Crew Eric Carn. He's one of the icons in, in the tri-state area. I mean, not just, as far as, training, but as a guy and a human being. And tell me, he's got like your school, he's really has a lot of his fighters now are branching out and his family is extending. Tell me, when you first met Crew, was it that you two guys connect and now you guys remain so close still? What was it? What was it the draw for you to become such a great friend and almost, like family with Crew?
Yeah, man. Crew Eric Carter. I mean, you guys, most people don't know who he is yet. I mean, it's kind of crazy to me. He's probably the best Muay Thai coach in our area. I think he's top 5 in the country. He's got guys in UFC. He's got guys in Bellator, M1. He's got me in Line Fight. He's got Lisa Lynn, the only pro Muay Thai fighter in Pennsylvania with a title as a female. He's got tons of people, and he's just a great dude, like as a person. And Muay Thai just kind of comes like second to him. He always wants you to thrive as a person first. And we all love Muay Thai, so that's kind of what brought us together. I was fighting MMA. I needed somebody to wrap my hands for a night. He wrapped my hands, and we've been friends ever since. Started training with him, and things just kicked off, man. Just look at me now. I mean, thanks to that guy for teaching me everything I know, and really teaching probably some of the best coaches on the East Coast as well. Aaron Meisner, Bill Algio, Eric Kenny from Burning Spirits. I mean, Tim Carpenter from Hellfish Jiu-Jitsu. Like, you can go down the list of people who he's coached that now have thriving schools.
I mean, dude, like,
yeah, he's a legend to me. He's one of the guys. Listen, I've been out here for over 15 years covering the sport, and I definitely put him, like you said, if there was a Hall of Fame, a Hall of Fame. And listen, for guys who haven't seen you fight, listen, you need to watch Joe Stripling fight, because my man is not in there to play around. He lays heavy wood. I'm telling you, he's exciting. He's talented. He's talented. And you know what? For a big guy, he's nimble on his feet. He's not slow. And I love watching you fight, Joe. You're a talented guy, man. And I appreciate the hard work you put in to also make a contribution to the, because you're one of those guys that, you have that personality, and we all root for you. So I know you're going to do us proud at Lion Fights and in that tournament.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I'm pretty outgoing and pretty personable, I think. But I don't know about being talented, man. I'm fat. I'm slow. I don't move fast. I wait till the guy punches my face a lot to get tired, and then it's time for me to go on and start fighting. It is what it is. Big fat people need to have love too.
That's not what Crew's teaching you.
Babe Ruth was big, fat, and slow, and he was pretty talented. So
that's true. That's true about Babe Ruth. I'll take that. I like that one.
Not just promotional wise, not just when the big money fights come on. We need to love everyone. We need to love outside the ring or cage too.
That's right, man. That's right. That's right.
The big guys are in, the skinny guys are out.
Bro, I mean, you'd be a lot of surprised. A lot of people think that only the skinnier and lighter guys, like 185 and down, can fight, when the truth is heavyweights can fight. We have some good skills, some good technique, but we do all go in there to throw bombs and try and knock each other out. I mean, that's what sells pay-per-views. That's what sells tickets. That's what makes people want to see fights. I mean, I'm gonna drop a name, Chris Dawkins from Martinez MMA. This dude is a savage. I trained with him for such a long time, and he was so good back then. And now to see him knocking guys out in UFC, bro, it makes me so excited. And his brother, Kyle, 2 brothers in UFC from Philly, you can't even mess around. Let's go.
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up myself. They're saying, we had Chris on not before this fight, before his prior fight, and before him getting into the top 10, and I've been sitting there saying, people are sleeping on this guy, watching there and Lane Johnson tweeting out, oh, who's gonna win the main event? I was like, yeah, I was going for Curtis. I was like, but what about our Philly cop over here, Mr. Dawkins?
Yeah, man. Right. He's that guy. I mean, honestly, I think he's probably the most accurate puncher in the heavyweight division. His speed is killing people, and he's not afraid to get taken down because he's got serious jiu-jitsu. So he's just letting his hands go. I mean, for him to be on length like that as a top 10, he's not even ranked. Like, that is amazing. And if he's not top 10 right away after this fight, man, I don't know what UFC is doing or who they're trying to promote, because that guy is a cop. He lives the dream every day, going to work, protecting Philadelphia, and he fights on the side, and now he's in the UFC. Like, man, I love that guy, man. More props to him. I hope he goes big and wins the UFC title, man.
Dude, hey, listen, I think he's one of these guys.
Well, he is ranked 10th right now.
Hard, but you have to if he's going to have to face the John Jones types, then you have to think he has a little bit more of the technically, more things striking than John Jones. He's a little odd sometimes, and gets a little wild at times. Where Chris has that bang low wig style, and he's very precise with things. So it'd be interesting to see how things like that play out in the next 2-3 years. See where Chris tends to, what happens with the UFC's heavyweight division, and and we're still forgetting about Kyle here, dude, because he's not.
No one's forgetting about Kyle, brother. No one's forgetting about Kyle. That dude is listen, to take that fight with that dude, that Brandon guy from 185 who had a full camp, but Kyle took it on like 7 days notice. For him to go 3 rounds with that cut, that first of all shows heart. Second of all, he won that 3rd round, and if he could just find a way to get a couple more punches, maybe a finish, it could have been a 10-8 and could have been a draw. I mean, he's one of those dudes too, I'm telling you, man. Bill Algeo, look at that guy. He's out there beating up Ricardo Lamas, losing a decision that was ridiculous, in my opinion. I'm a little biased. He's a buddy. He's a teammate. He's a family member, right? But then he goes out there and smokes that crazy Jesus freak last time with the red hair, screaming in his face. Like, what's wrong with that guy, bro? Like, amazing time. Philly's on the rise. I'm telling you, man, Delaware. People don't know who Delaware is, but we're right below it, Philly. So I'm gonna take it and slide on in there.
It's funny because this is like drums that we were beating on for a long time. Like, you got to watch these guys that are coming up in the greater upper Northeast area. Not just Philly, but New York, New Jersey, etc. That they're going to be the future, of the upper tier combat sports franchises, and you're seeing it. You're seeing it with Chris and Kyle. Patrick it was supposed to make his debut last weekend in a big middle finger to his opponent for not 1 but 2 weight classes.
Yeah, crazy.
Waste that time and take that trip, but
crazy.
And listen, if you're going to talk about Philly, though, you also have to bring up Sean Brady, because right now Sean Brady is still undefeated, 170 pounds. He's going to be fighting next week. And listen, Sean Brady's a monster, an absolute monster. Sean Brady is. So Philly is really.
Sean the Brickhouse Brady should be that kid's nickname, because holy crap, is that kid going to be scary in about a year?
He's scary now.
Listen, before we move on from the Dawkins brothers,
I've watched him go.
Listen, before we move on for the Dawkins brothers, let me tell you something about Chris and Kyle.
With a lot of them guys, like, listen, that kid is going to be a world champion within 2 years. Within 2 years, you post-date this, come back to this, whatever. Sean Brady will be a UFC champion. It's not at that point in time during his career. Period.
Done. I like it.
I mean, look at his skill set. How are you going to argue that? His striking has grown leaps and bounds since his first Cage Fury fight, and you even look at his wrestling and his grappling, which was his strong suit back then, has even gotten even better since then. I'm just sitting there saying, like, look, there's a lot. No disrespect to Usman or anybody else who's going to be holding that belt anytime in the next time frame. Sean Brady's coming, whether you like it or not. Just you're going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, I believe so too. I think Usman fight is a little tough for him right now, but if he keeps fighting guys he's fighting and building the ranks up, he's going to get real good.
Where's he he's like clearly better than Sean. It's probably just striking. But
yeah,
you could say it could be a push or even go Chris's or even go Sean's way with the grappling.
Yeah, but wrestling always seems to nullify everything as well. So Usman's got great wrestling. I mean, Usman's new coach, Trevor Whitman, is probably the best MMA coach in the game. That guy's a savage, and he knows everything and how to break certain things down. And I mean, look at what he said to Usman between the rounds. Throw your jab. It made you a world champion. Throw your jab. And Usman threw his jab and started smoking him. You know what I mean? Like, just little things like that make you mentally, like, better. That's that kind of coach right there, man. That's what Crew Eric does to me. What are you doing? Looking at it like an idiot. Put your hands up and check some kicks. I'm like, all right, yes, sir.
Hey man, that's what you got. That's what you got to do sometimes. You know, you have to have your coach put you in line, or friends or family put you in line when you get out of control.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Now, like I said, you got a big one coming up with this heavyweight tournament for Lion Fight. You know, obviously, you know that world champion is something that you've been looking forward to.
Yeah, man. I only have one title fight for a Muay Thai, and I won it in Delaware. I've had a couple MMA title fights, but I never really won them. So this is my chance to show everybody that I'm a legit Muay Thai fighter, and I'm ready to go on March 12th.
Yeah, it was one of the things. That's what I was trying to get you with the title fight. Is one of the bigger promotions title belts. Is kind of one of the things that's kind of eluded you to this point. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I know when you're telling me you're getting extra training in, when I've seen this fight lined up, I'm like, hey, listen, you know, it's now or never. Is that kind of the feeling what you're going with here?
I don't know about now or never, but I'm getting towards the end of my career. I'm 37 years old. I got a gym. I got guys who are coming up under me who are savage. I'm telling you, I have a couple of guys who I could send to Thailand right now and be like, whoa, who's that guy in a year? You know what I mean? I don't know. I love being a coach. I love teaching Muay Thai, but this is my opportunity to seize the moment, become a champ, defend a few times, and retire on top. You know what I mean? That's the goal. That's always been my goal. I got 30 pro fights between MMA and Muay Thai, so now's the time. Now's the time.
I mean, I hope the stars align and the cards fall where they may, however they learn, whatever it is, it falls in your favor this time, my friend. It's I say best of skill to everyone when we come on this show, but also sometimes there is a little bit of luck involved. That people in combat sports don't ever want to admit that. There is a little bit involved with it.
My gym's name's Chalk D, which means good luck in Thai. So it's always good luck. You step in there, you know, crazy things happen on crazy nights, man. You never know what can happen, but you go out there, you put in work as hard as you can for weeks on weeks on weeks and get ready, and then you just got to go out there and make it happen. So it is what it is that night, but I'm looking to go fight and win and get that title this summer.
This would be your first title in 30 career pro fights, right? That's what you said. I think I heard you correctly.
So I have one Muay Thai title for the WKA title. I won that via cartwheel kick knockout. And then I have in MMA, I had 2 title fights for CFFC and lost both of them, and 1 for Locked in a Cage and lost that as well. I did lose to guys who went to UFC and Bellator afterwards. Some great dudes, and they're very nice outside the fighting area, so I'm not mad at them. But I need to show everybody that I'm here, and I'm that guy. Oh, 100%. And my opponent is super good, man. He's won some legit tournaments, and he's explosive, and movement's good, but I think I got something for him that night. I think my Muay Thai is just better. I think my technical skill is just better. I know I'm going to get hit. It's a fight. I know I'm probably going to get beat up a little bit, but at the end of the night, my hand will be raised, and I will be moving on to the finals.
You got the biggest party celebration ever planned with giant steak dinners and 20-pound lobsters and shit, or anything like that? Bro, it's that make it the night of your life.
Nah, man, I'm vegetarian.
See that in comedy. I don't think you ever really see that. That's something like.
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian heavyweight, man. So I don't eat meat, but I will, however, have a few tequila drinks afterwards. I'll probably have a Hawaiian pizza with pineapple. I said it, and I'll probably eat some spicy Doritos because that's been eluding me for about 8 to 9 weeks here. But after that, I get right back to work because I know I need to take care of that title after I win.
Love it.
Yes, sir, man. I'm excited.
I mean, like, especially because it's Muay Thai. People tend to forget there's differences in a lot of these promotions. Some are kickboxing, some are Muay Thai. The difference, what that means for some of the listeners that don't understand what line fights, which means in this sport you can use your elbows and your knees, which is very crucial.
Yeah, man. I think Muay Thai, I mean, a lot of MMA guys use Muay Thai as like a base for stand-up. They have some boxing and some stuff in there, some Taekwondo like Conor McGregor or whatever. But for Muay Thai, it's punches, kicks, elbows, and knees, and then we can clinch. We can hold each other by the head and knee each other as many times as we want without getting broken up if there's action. So if there's no action, then they'll stop it, make us separate, and go back to it. But now I'm telling you, bro, like Muay Thai is it, and people don't understand having. If you guys don't know, Nathan Carnage Corbett is the commentator. He's probably the best foreign Muay Thai fighter ever, and that dude is just a savage. And just the fight for him, like as like a commentator, like it's huge, man. It's like having him there for my last 2 fights, like having him talk and like just listen to me and like we have conversations made everything to me. Like that was everything to me.
Now your opponent, Terrance Hodges. What do you think about him? Like you know, he's one of these super tough guys. You know, if you're kind of giving our listeners a kind of a scouting report here on your opponent, what would they expect if they were coming into the fight?
So Terrance is super good. He's won a few like tournaments, but they're kickboxing. So I know he's explosive. I know that he's got some real good power, and he throws some cool like spin kicks and stuff. He sets it up really, really well. But I think because I came from an MMA background, I'm going to go like this with quotes. I think I see that stuff a little bit more than some of the guys who just start with kickboxing, who just did Muay Thai. I feel like I have a little bit more an advantage. And I also throw crazy kicks, man. I mean, Bob's seen me. I mean, he's seen me fight a few times. I mean, I like to have fun, man, to be honest with you, dude. Like, if you're not having fun, why are you doing this, bro? There's so many people make this a
pick, and he's a heavyweight. I'm just saying, guys.
Yeah. I mean, people don't have fun in this sport, dude, or in any combat sports. I think it becomes a job for some people. I think fight camp's the job, but the rest of the time it should be fun and learning and having a good time. But I mean, I love this job, man. I love everything about it. So I'm just excited to go out there and showcase. And I know that Terrance and me are going to put on a show. I think he's going to come with some flying knees, maybe some spin kicks. And I think I'm just going to have to buckle down and be disciplined with my hands being up and clinch them a little and look for some elbows inside and try and finish the fight.
I think we got a comment here from Catino here on YouTube. I guess from the previous thing we were talking about, asking if he was even better than John Wayne Payne.
John Wayne Parr, yeah. I personally think Nathan Carnage Corbett's the best Muay Thai farang ever. I mean, I'll go Nathan Carnage Corbett, Damian Traynor, Danny Bill, Ronnie Green, and then I'll go Giorgio Petrosian, even from Muay Thai, even though he's a kickboxing guy. But, like, John Wayne Parr is good, but, I mean, he's got some power, bro. Don't get me wrong. He's a good fighter, but there's some other dudes who I think are better than him as foreigners, but he's still a great dude, so.
Tom taking shots at Bob.
That's Bob.
I got to ask you, because you said you knocked the guy out with, I heard it correctly, a cartwheel corner kick? Is that what it was called?
It's called a Sanchai kick. He's from Thailand. He's one of the best Thai fighters ever, probably the GOAT of Muay Thai at this era. And he throws, you put one hand down the ground, and then your leg comes up over top of the person's neck, and you hit him right in the side of the neck.
That sounds like the craziest shit ever, and I feel like I don't know what I would do. Like, if I can't imagine my reaction if I knock somebody out cold with that. Like, it's like you gotta be like the most insane feeling ever to be like, oh, that worked. I just knocked you out with that shit. Like, I can't imagine.
Yeah, man. I've thrown in a couple MMA fights, and I've thrown in another Muay Thai fight. When they hit this time, I didn't know it landed because it was so clean. And, like, the ref sent me to the corner, and I was like, wait a second. It landed? And that didn't respond until about 10 seconds later when they called the fight. I was like, whoa, I guess I won.
I'm a legitimate badass. Like,
Nah, I don't think I'm a badass, man. I just think I had a good time that night, and I had a really great, amazing camp with Aaron Meisner from Royal Striking, and he got me super cardio shape, and I never felt tired. I was out of the ring for almost 3 years. I didn't have any ring rust. Like, I was slipping punches and moving, and then got him. You know what I mean? It is what it is at this point, but
I have the video on like a loop on like an archive on my computer.
Zach, you got to watch that, Zach. You can find that. It went viral. All you got to do is go to YouTube and search cartwheel kick Joe Stripling, and you will see it. And believe me, you'll watch it 10 times. It's that awesome.
Yeah, man, it went on Reddit that same night and was like over 500,000 views in less than 12 hours. It was out of control. Sanchai, the guy who made the kick, even posted it.
Like it.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was awesome. Sanchai posted it on his page, and another guy did it out west the same night in an MMA fight off his back from a jiu-jitsu guard. He pulled to knock the guy out.
Jeez.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, but he wasn't no heavyweight.
It's still my
Pumping in the air like you are.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. I'm just a heavyweight because I like to drink beer, and eat pizza. You know what I mean? Like, I could be 185 again like I used to be, Bob. Remember those days?
Oh, man. Nah, it's not as fun. You don't want to cut weight again, Joe. No?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Fight healthy. Fight at the healthy weight. Fight at the healthy.
I think that a lot of fighters cut too much weight, in my opinion. A lot of my guys, I tell them 5 pounds max. And if they lose it during camp, we know we can still do another 5 pounds. So it's not too crazy. But guys cutting 15, 20, 30 pounds to fight is just, I know you might have an advantage, but being bigger, but I feel like your brain is just taking more damage over and over. I mean, I have 30 fights, man. I don't feel like I had brain damage or anything. Like, thank God, knock on wood, you know what I mean? But I want to be able to talk to my kid when he's 15 years old and be like, hey, man, what's up? And have a good conversation and not be all crazy, you know? Like,
having somebody picking up your drool in a cup or something. Yeah, I mean, we know exactly what you're talking about, man. Like,
yeah, a lot of guys spar really hard as well. Like, I spar probably hard 2 times a camp, and that's because my trainer's there. And then if something's going wrong, he'll pull everybody back. Like, at my gym, we never spar hard unless a guy has a fight. It's always play sparring. Like, I post videos on my Instagram all the time at Bazooka Joe Strip if you want to follow me. But I post videos all the time, and it's just me play sparring. Like, we're not here to knock each other out. We're here to learn from each other and get better. And I think a lot of MMA guys just go in there to try and win every round of sparring, when truthfully, sparring is about learning and getting timing down and distance control and ring control and cage control. Like, let's find out when I can shoot a takedown. Maybe my jab isn't working today. Let's start switching to southpaw and throw an uppercut or a jab off that side. Just learning each other. I feel like too many guys spar way too hard, in my opinion. I think Max Holloway said it best. Don't need to spar hard, man. But he spars every day. But he's just touching each other. They're moving around. A lot of the Thais spar technically and easily, and then when they go hard, it's pretty scary. But they just play around with each other. They want to learn. They want to have fun. You know what I mean? Like, we're dancing with each other, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, before we get ready to wrap things up and let you go, I want to get your thoughts on the other half of this little semi-tournament. You know, Cody East, and I think it's one is the other half.
Yeah, Cody East is my only loss in Muay Thai. It went 5 rounds. I had just fought about 2.5 weeks earlier, maybe 3 weeks earlier. There is no excuse there. I lost. It is what it is. I'm glad I lost when I did because that kind of made me mad and made me realize, like, I just got to finish fights in Muay Thai because people aren't going to give me the credit that was credit due. If that fight was in Thailand or any Muay Thai state, I think I won. I pressured him. I kicked him. I kneed him. I elbowed him. Just because you throw a jab for 5 rounds doesn't mean you won. But if we do fight each other in the finals, it will not go to the judges. I promise you that. It will either me getting knocked out or he will be getting knocked out because I am not stopping until one of us is on the ground. And Warren Thompson is a banger, bro.
You got robbed. You
It's
got
okay,
robbed
Bob.
in that fight. That was one of the worst decisions I ever seen in my life. I was so pissed off when you didn't win that fight. The
It's
first
all right.
round he won. Second round you won clearly, and the third round you made him your bitch. I was so pissed off that they didn't give you that fight.
Yeah, I mean,
You
when you
earned
drop
it.
me,
You weren't. I'm saying that. I'm saying that honestly. I'm
I
saying that as
appreciate that.
listen. When I watch a fight, I'll tell a fighter if I think they lost, because
know.
I be honest and tell you if you lost, because that's how I am. You won the fight, and I've seen fights happen. Believe me, they don't always get it right. Your fight they got wrong, and I hope you get a chance for revenge, and I hope you get him in the finals.
I mean, truthfully, man, like I don't mind losing. It's Muay Thai. You're gonna lose. It's part of. I mean, some of the best fighters in Thailand that have Muay Thai, they have 300 fights with 250 wins and 50 losses. You know, like it's just how you fight. If you display good Muay Thai, things like that. For me, that's what matters. I do want to win. Don't get me wrong. I want to win by devastating fashion every single time. He did drop me in the second round with the overhand right, so maybe the 10-8 kind of saved him for a couple rounds. But still, man, when I went to his corner to say thank you to the fight, they were all like, "Yo, man, congratulations, great job." And then all of a sudden, they raise his hand, and I'm like, "What the hell?" So it happens, man. It happens a lot. So it's okay. If I get him in the finals, it is what it is. If not, I get Warren Thompson, who I think is probably the best guy in the tournament, in my opinion. I think he's got more experience. He's fought all over the world, from MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai. I mean, that dude is savage. He's big. He's strong. He's got a sexy mullet. He's got a great mustache. Like, he's just that guy, man. He keeps coming forward, and he, win or lose, he just comes forward like I do. So if we get to the finals, that's going to be a barn burner. I just think it's going to be a good tournament, man. Terrance Hodges is so good, too. I mean, I think I'm the best heavyweight in the world, in my opinion, of Muay Thai. That's why when I stopped fighting MMA, people were kind of mad, because they could take me down on the ground and hump my leg and get me pregnant. But now they can't, and I'm out here winning. So
Hump my leg and get me pregnant. I love it.
that's MMA, man. Wrestlers always win MMA, in my opinion, especially as like the semi-pros. Like, I think like guys have regional scene. A lot of wrestlers go out there and just do what they got to do to win, and I'm not mad at that, dude. You know, like, it happens, you know. So I love it. You live and you learn, and I can teach my guys to not get that to happen to them. So it's cool. I like it. As a coach, it's good.
Deep down, you know, like, you say, oh, you think the one guy's the best guy in the tournament, but like, you know, you want that second fight, right? You want that revenge fight. You want to have a chance to go out and kick that dude's ass and prove it. Like, hey, like, you don't know I won the first time.
Let's be in the Marvel universe for a second. You got the reality stone in your hand. Your own reality, brother. How does everything play out in Joe's reality for the tournament?
I mean, I would like to rematch for Zach. I would like to rematch just because we were supposed to fight before, and then he actually had to get pulled out for a medical reason. So I ended up fighting another guy from Canada, but was by way of Bosnia. And that fight was crazy for one round, and we beat the crap out of each other. Well, he beat me up for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and then I started landing in 30 seconds, and then I tired him out by getting beat up, and I beat him in the second round. But Cody's rematch would be cool. Truthfully, at this tournament, I feel like I'm going to come out there, put on good Muay Thai display, looking for a knockout like I always do. I'm trying to be a KO fighter, trying to finish every fight, win, lose, or draw. I'm going to try and go for that KO. And then when I get into the finals, I'm just going to do what I got to do to win, man. I got to show everybody that I'm the best heavyweight in America, and I think I'm the best in the world. Lion Fight gave me an opportunity to be the first heavyweight on their card and fight for Lion Fight. So I really appreciate them giving me an opportunity. And now that I fought, other guys are coming over and asking to fight that have good experience, and they're finding guys who have a lot of fights. So to me, that means a lot, getting opportunities after 3 years of not having any fights at all to now being able to fight, man. And then like having COVID crush us for a year sucked. Mentally, it sucked. My body physically sucked. But once I signed that contract, man, that fire was right back in my belly, and I'm ready to go.
That's awesome, brother. Well, again, dude, best of skill, man. Looking forward to seeing how the rest of this tournament plays out, guys. If you haven't already, head over to UFC Fight Pass and make sure you can catch Joe and the rest of the fighters compete here. You know how this goes, man. What we do, we typically throw it to you at the end here. Anyone you want to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot out your social media sites and charities you're working with, anything like that. The time is yours.
All right, guys, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. A lot of fighters get opportunities to fight, and now finally heavyweights are getting an opportunity. So shout out to Lion Fight for giving us an opportunity. North American belt means a lot to me and to the other heavyweights, I'm sure. Make it happen. You can follow me on Instagram at Bazooka Joe Strip. Facebook is just Joe Stripling. You can also follow my gym page, which is Chalk D Athletics. We're the only Muay Thai gym in Delaware that's specifically only Muay Thai. We specify in Thai style from Thailand, from Sit Yatong. I want to thank True Eric Carner. This camp really gave me an opportunity to train with him again and get good training in there. My student at my gym, Mikey Beefcake Sadlowski. This kid is a savage, and he actually holds pads for me at 125 pounds, 3 days a week, and I blast this thing, and he eats them and comes forward. And all my students at the gym, my CDA nerds, I call them, they all help me train. If I need to train, they're like, "Come, let's go, let's push, let's get it going." So it really means a lot. My sponsors at Direct Investor Academy, Tonic Seafood and Steak, who are hosting the fights, which are awesome. U.S. Combat Gear, Valor Training Center, Fight City Bermuda. Shout out to Coach Chuck and Coach Pat from Valor. Who else? Man, I got so many people that I got to thank. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Bobby Merle from Cornerstone Printing. That guy makes the best T-shirts. If you need a T-shirt, I promise you, call that guy up. And that's pretty much it, guys. And thank you guys, man, for having me on. Thanks, Bob, for coming on. And Steve and Zach, man, thank you guys so much. You guys do a great show. I love watching it, and I can't wait to see you guys again.
Well, we definitely can't wait for having you back on, and appreciate the love and support and everything else. And again,
and once I win, I'll come back on, right? But make sure you guys watch on.
I want the belt on your shoulder.
Yeah, dude.
Come on, I want the belt over your shoulder.
All right, I'll do it. I'll rock my Mickey Mouse Muay Thai shirt with the belt on my shoulder. All right, and I'll do it. But make sure you guys watch on UFC Fight Pass for Lion Fight, guys.
Absolutely. Appreciate the time. We'll catch up with you, brother. But
yes, sir. Guys, thank you so much. Guys, have a great day, all right?
You too, my friend. All right, everyone. That was Lion Fight heavyweight fighter, Bazooka Joe Stripling. Always fun having Joe on. Always, getting a chance to catch up with him. But getting it back into our next segment of the show, and kind of skipped over that because we had Joe on. And, let's get into a little bit of the Sixer stuff. And our poll question didn't really get a chance to do that. Obviously, having Joe on here. And our poll question is brought to you by Body Check Wellness, and they are a line of products that will promote wellness, wellness, recovery, using full potential of hemp. They come in extract, blends, gummies, topicals. You promotional code A2D for 20% off. That's bodycheckwellness.com. That poll question is this year's Sixer squad more fun to watch than the 2001 Sixers? Agree to disagree? Obviously, people have already been weighing in on that question. Obviously, everyone's kind of disagreeing with it at this point in time from the fam and everyone else. So, and we also had someone, as we were getting off with Joe, asking us, we were talking about the Sixers of Cav. I think Bob has pretty much nailed it, because the last I checked, I think they were just
What's the update on that, Bob?
This is a close game. The Sixers were down by a bucket. They really tightened the defense in the second half, and like I said, they sleptwalked through the first half, and now it looks like they went on a little run, and I expect them, to still pull this game out. Maybe not cover the 10-point spread. Like I said, if you're a gambler, the Sixers have been covering on a regular basis. So tonight, I think they'll pull this game out, but they won't cover the 10. But a victory is a victory. That's all I care about. Embiid with his typical, he had 19 in the first half, so he's playing MVP ball. Ben Simmons is scoring the ball again, and it's looking
over
good.
here. We'll go with the Sixers despite the horrendous start to this game, for sure. We appreciate Brick TV's watching this from Cleveland, I guess.
Yeah, well, of course, that's what I was saying. They're playing Cleveland, so there was absolutely no way I was getting it on live TV down here in Tampa, in the Tampa area of Florida. So it's not on broadcast network TV down here. So I found instead I got the Mavs Nets game on. So.
First half of the game now it's even 65-65.
There we go. See, so I'm counting on you, Bob. Bob, you were like literally my entire Sixers update. Okay, I've got to listen to you for the Sixers update as I watch the Mavs and the Nets.
Simmons has 20 points with 3 minutes left in the third. So Simmons is one of the catalysts for this comeback. Like I said, he's got 20 already, and we're still have 3 minutes left to go in the third. So let's see what happens fourth quarter. I just feel the vibe. I just had a feeling.
Could you imagine if Allen Iverson in 2001 had a big man talent like Joel Embiid? Like, oh my God, would it not be like the perfect complementary player for Allen Iverson?
Asking the question to comparing them to that, like you got to think that's probably the last time this city's had fun with a basketball team.
Yeah, I'll say this about it because obviously I grew up with that 01 Sixers team and Allen Iverson and all that, and I was 8 years old and remember that magical run all the way to the NBA Finals against the Lakers. I mean, I could literally go through situations that year, like remember things like situation by situation by situation, even though I was that young. Like that's how cooked that team had me. And I think it's a different comparison because this team all around, when you look at the talent, like obviously outside of AI, they didn't have anything else on that team that was anything close to the complementary players that this team has. This team, I think they maybe beat you in a different way than that team, but that 01 team was definitely way more fun to watch than this team. You know what I mean? Like AI and that group of guys, it was so much more of like an electrifying, atmosphere every night when you watch them. Just like it was just out of control fun to watch that team with Allen and the way he played the game. Where I feel like this team, like it's fun to watch because they're good and they're talented and that they're probably going to win more games if they don't be able to make a deep playoff run. But I don't get caught up like when you watch their style of basketball. Like I mean, you were on the edge of your seat at all times. It seemed like when Allen was on the floor with the Sixers because you knew it was him and almost nobody else. He had to do something special every single night in order for them to win basketball games.
I'd like to point out is this team. I'm going to go against most of the people, and I'm going to say this team. And one of the things that you have to remember when you're making the comparison is there was fans in the stadium. Iverson makes that move, and he's got his ear cupped like this. The fans are going crazy, and that added to the excitement. This team is doing it in empty stadiums. I mean, Joel Embiid, when he scores 50 and he's doing this, that place will be going nuts. We're not seeing that video. We're not getting that opportunity to see the fans going crazy. With the 01 team, you had that. It's a completely different atmosphere when you don't have fans and you're watching on TV because there's added excitement with the fans, especially in our stadium. And the way the Sixers play at home, they're one of the best home teams in the NBA. And like I said, with Iverson playing up to the crowd, it always jacked up the ambiance and the loudness. We can't see that with this team because of no fans in attendance. And if you're seeing this team and Joel Embiid is having as good a season as any Sixer since Allen Iverson's MVP season. And he loves the fans. He said it. He loves Philly, and that's why it's a hard comparison for me. It's kind of not a fair question to this team because when you're watching it on TV, like most of us do, or you can't go down there yet until March 8th. They're going to have fans, but it's only going to be a limited number. But we're not, like I said, we're not seeing the video of the fans going berserk, which we would be seeing if we had a sellout like the Sixers were. So I think it is kind of a tough question because when you're watching and you're saying, yeah, Iverson was great, but it was basically Iverson and a bunch of average players, role players.
You had a bunch of mailmen.
Eric Snow.
Hey, I'm a mailman. Come on now.
Yeah, hey, imagine you could have played in the NBA. All you need to do is make a phone call. They were looking for swingmen to play with Allen. They were pulling them out of every mail post office in the area. Matt Geiger, tell me Matt Geiger does not look like some guy that like just drives a mail truck around every neighborhood you've ever like that dude looks like just the guy that's delivering mail to my local township.
He made some good money when he was here. I'll tell you that much.
Looks like the guy at the warehouse. It's like, all right.
Matt Geiger looked like your average, like everyday dude. You're just like, wait, like you play in the NBA? And the amazing thing is that dude had a no trade clause. That was part of why Allen ended up staying in Philly and not getting traded after the 99 season or whatever it was. Matt Geiger somehow, the bum that he was had a no trade clause, and him and Allen almost got traded to Detroit or whatever the hell it was, and Geiger blocked the trade, and the rest is history in Philly basketball. Allen was almost never here for that. Like, we almost never had that run, Steve. Think about that.
Thank God for Matt Geiger for that. It's the biggest contribution he had to the city.
I'm telling you, they should put him in the Sixers Hall of Fame just for that.
Sixers with the ball now at the ending of the third quarter, guys. We got 10 seconds left, and they're down 1. They got a chance to take the lead here heading into the fourth quarter. So it's going to be, a battle of wills heading into the fourth quarter if anybody's game. And Korkmaz will go to the free throw line with a chance to give the Sixers a lead heading into the fourth period. Sixers, like I said, are a good fourth period team. I'm feeling good. Get this victory. I like it.
Yeah, I still think they're going to pull this out. A lot of people, the betting line, we're kind of going with the betting line, expected a blowout here. But, hey, I was right last week. I sat there, said that they were going to come out flat in the first game against the Raptors. I was right. They always play them tough, but they came back and beat in the following game, if memory serves me, and I figured they would play down to Cleveland like they typically do, and here we are, a tie ball game going into the third. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, listen, Steve. I want to get your take. Listen, I know tonight's we got a UFC card tonight. It's UFC Vegas 20. It's more. There's not a real lot of popular names on there. The heavyweights are again in the main event. There's some good fights. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that the big card is next week. And what do you? I wanted to get your take, Steve, on the 3 title fights. I mean, we have some monster fights next week. It's on a pay-per-view. This is one of the first times we've seen what's going to happen. We're seeing style bender. Adesanya go up. He's the 185-pound champion. He's fighting for the championship at 205 against Blachowicz. And, Amanda Nunes is fighting. And then we also have the 135-pound title with Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. So next week with 3 title fights on the line. Give me a couple seconds of what you think of that card, Steve. I can't wait for that one.
Well, I'm definitely Team Izzy first and foremost. I think he's gonna continue to do what he's been doing, man. Like I have nothing that's gonna believe me to think that he's not going to. And I believe Amanda's fighting Megan Anderson, correct?
Correct, the Australian.
Yeah, love Megan, love her game. This isn't the time for her. I know, like everyone says Styles makes fights. This is something that she's been they've been grooming her for either this fight or the Cyborg fight for the better part of 3 years. And I don't think that that she's the one that's gonna derail Amanda Nunes. You looked at some of her prior losses. This isn't the style. This isn't the style that's going to beat her. With all due respect, Megan is the one of the few fighters in that featherweight division that is the future for that division. But that's the female GOAT. I don't see anything less than a TKO KO stoppage from Amanda Nunes. Megan may be able to weather it and get to a decision. I don't see her winning. The Aljamain Sterling Peter Yan fight, dude, I'm definitely Team Funky. Come on, man. I know. Jan's got a great gas tank. He's got good boxing, all that good stuff. But listen, man, the Aljamain Sterling, the Funky Man, has got this. He's been on this road for the better part of 2 years. There's really no way, in my opinion, that you're gonna take anything from that. I don't think you're gonna see anything less than Sterling win, a Nunes win, and Team Stylebender is gonna continue to do his thing. We'll see what happens. But even like tonight, man, I'm really looking forward to Jimmy Rivera. You know how it is up here in the air. One of these guys coming through Cage Fury, coming through the local promotions, and he's got a big one tonight, right?
Yeah, listen, I did an interview with Jimmy for MyMMAnews.com for the website that I report and write for, and this is a rematch. He's going in against Pedro Munoz tonight, and this is Jimmy's 11th fight in the UFC, and he fought Pedro in his second fight, and it was a decision, and he won pretty handily, as according to the UFC stats, outstruck him 96-66. But Munoz actually right now is one spot ahead of him in the UFC rankings. Munoz has crawled up to number 8. Jimmy is at number 9, and this is a big fight for Jimmy. And Jimmy's, like you said, Jimmy's a New York, North Jersey guy, Tiger Schulman. We've gotten to see guys like him grow up. I mean, I was cage side for Aljamain Sterling in Atlantic City when he was the ring combat champion. So, when you see guys, you and I, and when you're seeing guys fight regionally and you have a chance to talk to them, it's hard not to root for them, because most fighters are really humble, good guys, and once you meet them, you become fans of them right away. And like I said, Aljamain Sterling, like you said, he's so exciting to watch. And then as far as the female fight, I hope Megan can make it a good fight, Steve. I hope she can make it a good fight.
Fighter's charisma. People just you don't understand it. Like, that's why he's fun to watch.
What's that, Steve?
I said it, and Aljamain it has that fighter's charisma. That's why he's just so much fun to watch inside and outside the cage. Like, some people just don't get that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He comes to the cage, but sometimes he has the gold chain around his neck, and he's dancing, and he's having a good time. And the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling, definitely, like you said, that should be. And I asked Jimmy about that fight in our interview, because Jimmy Rivera fought both Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan. He took both of those guys the distance, and they're fighting for the title. Jimmy lost both fights by decision, but he said that Aljamain needs to take it to the ground and he'll win the fight. And he thinks if he can't get the fight to the ground, that Peter Yan will win. So I think it's one of those really, Aljamain is going to use his speed to try to get it to the ground.
Aljamain's strength is that grappling, man. It's not just his wrestling; it's just the grappling in general.
Yes, he's very slick, and he's Matt Serra, and that's his camp up there, and he actually out in Vegas now, lives in Vegas, but he still trains with the same team and Sarah Longo, and it's a big time for him. First chance to get a chance to fight for the title, and I'm rooting for Aljo for sure.
For sure. And even tonight, there's like another one tonight. Our good friend Bruce Leroy, Mr. Alex Caceres, and Kevin Kroon. That's going to be a fun fight.
Alex is another one of those guys that you were just talking about a couple of minutes ago, Steve, with personality. You know what I mean? It's you're not just walking in. That's why you like Izzy. I know Izzy has. Stylebender has the greatest entrance in MMA when he comes out. I mean, you're watching. Some guys you don't really need to see them walk out. When Adesanya is walking out, you want to watch him. And like you said, Alex is another one of those guys who has that personality that helps the sport too. Because it's not just robots. These are real guys, and you want to see them having fun doing what they're doing.
Yeah, it's one of these things. Like I don't know if it's just like the age or whatever. It's just like some of that's kind of gone from MMA, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, you know what? At least what Dana White and the UFC has done is, when we went through the pandemic, they were the first sport organization to have events. So while we were missing out on, we lost out on, all that hockey and basketball and whatever sports that were canceled. The UFC was the first one to come back, and they've added a lot. Like I said, they added a lot of new fighters to their roster. Philly got a bunch of guys signed. So, I mean, Steve, they have events. The UFC has cards like 3 out of 4 weeks out of the month. It's crazy. I mean, back in the day, it used to be one a month.
Like I'm like we've talked a lot about MMA over the years, and one of my things is I'm gonna say this. Like, listen, they've kind of spinning wheels right now. They haven't. We would have thought by now they would have ascended. They haven't ascended. They've been spinning wheels. They're more worried about making money than putting the best fighters in the cage against the best fighters and doing that whole motto that Dana White used to spiel off at us is nonsense.
Well, listen, you know what? It's not always one thing watching the UFC. You have to learn, and even though it sucks, it's still a business, and they do as good a job as they can getting the top fighters in there. But it's about ratings and pay-per-views and just like anything, they want to make money. Yeah, they want to.
No one says you can't have pay-per-views, but that you don't do it for the sake of the honor of the ranking system, and they continually circumvent and go around it, and you fights that shouldn't be made get made, and like you do things for matchups for money value, but then when you see things that are strategically done to some fighters that maybe not as popular, they're not they should be fighting they're 4 and you should be fighting anywhere in those inside that top, and they're wind up fighting like the 7th ranked fighter. Why is the 4th ranked fighter fighting the 7th ranked fighter? Shouldn't they be saying fight someone in that top 3 at least? No.
Well, listen, before we get into fourth quarter, Steve, here. Before we get into the fourth quarter here, the Sixers game, I wanted to ask Zach, because Zach had wanted to say something about a tragic event this week about Tiger Woods. Thank you. Okay, but Zach, tell us, I know you thought it was important that we talked about Tiger Woods today, so give us your thoughts on that, please.
Well, Tiger, he's a legend, right? I mean, it's Kobe, MJ, Tiger. I mean, there's names out there that when, like, in sports, when their names are mentioned, it gets your attention. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different level of attention than just comes with any other athlete. So, I mean, obviously his career might be over from a golf perspective, right? We're talking about a dude that just broke both of his legs. And, I mean, he's got a metal plate holding one leg together now. You're talking about the landscape of things as far as professional golf never going to be the same. You know what I mean? Like this changes, more than just, he's not going to play, he's going to have to go through this long recovery. It changes the whole landscape of what professional golf is and what it's going to be forever going forward. In some ways, it's sad, obviously, because you feel like, at least for me, I'm somebody that grew up, he was my sports hero. You know what I mean? Like as a teenager and all that, I was golfing all the time in junior tournaments and things like that. He was my sports hero, like more than any other sports hero I had. He was my guy. So maybe it hits me a little bit harder than it's going to hit, other people and everybody else. But I feel like in the sports world, you can't tell me there wasn't for a split second a time when you heard, Tiger Woods in the breaking news. You're like, oh no, like car accident. You see all the videos. You're like, oh, please don't tell me. It's like, Kobe comes to your mind right away, right? Because of it's a year ago and things like that. Oh no, like this is all we need is another sports legend of this magnitude having something tragic, to that level happening. So in some ways you're like, all right, like thank God he's alive, right? He's alive. You're still gonna be able to have all that legacy that you built as a golfer. And
and another thing that kind of gets lost in this whole thing too, Zach, is like what you're touching on is like, you're surprised about what's happening, the news breaks and everything like that. And then you get these freaking scumbags on social media and be like, oh, he was probably drunk. Oh, he was high on this. Did you see? Like, can we be human beings for about two? Was there anyone hurt? Was there any children in the car? No. Okay, good. And you leave them alone.
None of that would matter anyway. Right? I mean, that's why I just ignore those fucking people. I mean, there's been those people that have like.
But it's secondary to the fact
that him for over a decade now. Like
it has,
those are like the people that still bring up Kobe rape jokes and shit. Like they try to make Kobe rape jokes. Like who gives a fuck? Like stop. Like Kobe rape jokes, really? Like at this point, like oh great. So Tiger cheated on his wife and he abused pain pills at one point. You know how many people cheat on their wife and abuse pain pills? God, if that makes him an awful person, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like I want to know what's in other people's closets when the people that come out and make those comments, on social media. Like, let's pull out the skeletons in your closet and see what's going on. If you want to sit here and really take shots about, somebody taking paint off. That's more than
81-77.
Yeah, Sixers still have been down by 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, you know why I'm glad you wanted to talk about Tiger Woods, because what Steve was just saying about the MMA fighters and having personality, that's what Tiger brought to the sport as well. And you know what? It was always made any tournament that he's in, when he's in contention in the last day, it always adds drama, it adds ratings, and more TVs are flicking on golf. And you know that Tiger Woods is in the hunt in the final pairing, are looking for a victory. And I think a lot of that has to do with, him over the years, like you were saying, he's your idol. A lot of people feel that way about him, but also because he brought the personality and fist pump and the red shirt. And, like I said, like Steve was saying, guys with personality, they sell and they make the sport better. And I think Tiger Woods ties in with that with golf. And like you said, he's, hopefully, he's going to live a healthy life, whether he gets back to golfing or not. I'm just thankful that he made it, and you don't wish that on anybody.
I think what could come of this now, like a positive that could come out of it, that maybe, wasn't going to come out of this right away. Like, I feel like we started seeing it a few months ago when him and Charlie obviously played in that the Pro-Am tournament, and they had a lot of the combinations that John Daly and his son were out there and all that. And you could kind of see Tiger in, like, for the first time, his public interest in what his son and his kids could actually be in the future of golf. Obviously, that's something now that maybe he has no choice and he has to focus on that side of it. But I think that could be something that could be really cool, is to see over the next 10 years how he helps groom his son potentially into that next golf mega superstar that, hey, you're going to have to go carry the sport. You're going to be, just as big as dad was. It's going to be just as important for you to take on my legacy and build from it and continue to try to grow golf, in a similar way that I did. And the only comparison I can maybe make to what Tiger did for golf is what Dale Earnhardt Sr. did for NASCAR. Like, you always knew golf was a thing, right? But until Tiger was Tiger, it was just like, it was just for middle-aged guys that wore goofy pants and a funny hat. Like, that's almost what it was, right? Like, just like NASCAR and racing cars didn't become cool until Dale Earnhardt Sr. put the badass persona that kind of went with it. You were like, oh, it's more than just rednecks going in a circle. This dude's a badass. Like, there was a persona about him that attracted attention from more than just a hardcore fan base. And Tiger brought eyes like that to golf. People that you would have never imagined were interested in the game or were going to watch the game or take up the game suddenly did, simply because Tiger Woods had the impact on it that he did.
Yeah, but real quick before we keep going here, this next segment is brought to you by our next sponsor, and many of us in our families deal with mental health and addiction issues. We're happy to support anyone going through any type of issues. Please reach out to the Counseling Center over and Sunrise Detox. If you need any help, please call 856-651-8117. Let them know Tom and the fam over here at A2D sent you. But yeah, like, listen, he's got so much to offer outside of just who he was in the sport. Me and you were talking about this yesterday. Like, concentrate on your son, who's obviously just as skilled and could possibly be another second coming or even better than his dad. You never know. But there's other things that he's gonna have to move on for. There's no him. As much as anyone would like to see him golf again, he's never gonna be that guy ever again. As much.
Yeah, I just don't see
anything like that.
I just don't see. I mean, Bob, you're probably familiar at least with the story of Ben Hogan, and his big comeback from the legendary comeback. Him and his wife, Stephen. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Ben Hogan was him and his wife were in a car back in the day in the 50s or whenever it was. And I believe it was in the 1950s, and they got hit by a Greyhound bus. And everybody thought that Hogan's career was going to be over. And he made like a 3-year recovery process to come back and ended up being at the top of golf again and going on and winning major championships. And it was an amazing, comeback story. people say, oh, if Hogan could do it back in the 60s, why can't Tiger do that now? And I just, Tiger is 45, where Hogan was more in his mid-30s. It was a little bit more of a different age range. I even think this is, as fucked up as Hogan was in that Greyhound bus injury. I really think Tiger's injuries are just at a whole nother level. I mean, it don't matter who you are as an athlete. You broke both legs, and you've got metal plates holding together one leg and a bunch of surgery that was done to help, put back together the other one. You could be the most world-class athlete you want. At 45 years old, your body it can only do so much. The idea to come back and golf's one of those sports, you can't just go out there and go through the motions, right? Like, he's actually got to be able to play at a high enough level and be able to actually walk. Forget about playing. You're walking, 7,000-yard golf courses. They don't get to go take a golf cart, right? You got to go walk a 7,000-yard golf course 4 days in a row. Like, just this idea to me that he could make a comeback, as superhuman as Tiger's shown us to be throughout his career, that just seems like it's insanity. There's some things that are like, yeah, wow, this guy's amazing, and then there's other things that are just legitimately impossible. And I just don't see, like, you could ask me right now, like, a million to one odds. I don't even know if I bet $10 then I think he'd come back. Like, I'm that confident that his career is over. Like, it's like it's not even worth you taking like the most long shot bet on. I really think that's how confident I am that we're just never going to see him play golf again.
All right, on the Sixers game right now, we got Embiid just went to hoop for a big jam.
We're up 2. Joe just had a big dunk, and Ben just missed the drive right there.
Chance to extend the lead.
Bob, real quick before we move on to our next subject. Obviously you're big in the fight game with MMA. Do you boxing and all that? I'm assuming is included. Like, have you seen like a fight fan of all kinds?
I follow some of everything. Boxing, wrestling. I follow everything. Boxing, wrestling. Okay. Our website covers any combat sport there is.
So I'm watching the PBC on Fox, right? And they got this Vito Melnicki kid that's fighting tonight. That's apparently like 18 years old, and I just watched him whip this dude's ass in like a first-round TKO. This kid is fucking unreal, dude. 8-0 now with 5 knockouts. Do you know anything about, like, is like he this badass? Like, are they expecting this much like out of him, like in the fight game?
You know what? He's a phenom, and it's amazing that he's so young and he's having so much success. But I haven't gotten a chance. He hasn't had that much exposure yet. I don't follow boxing 100% as much as I do mixed martial arts because it's so busy. But everything I've heard about him is some people believe he has a ceiling to go down as one of the greats. I mean, if he can stay healthy and keep performing at this level, I mean, he's already showing you, like you said, he was on today and he was spectacular. So, I root for that kind of stuff.
101 punches. How do you land 58 of 101 punches in a boxing match? They're fucking unreal.
Yeah, they're building athletes better now, and guys are working harder. Listen, science is better, so you're able to, it's amazing how, as years have gone by, how as long as, you're able to fix your body better to regenerate and watch film. There's a lot of things, and it's good to see. We need these young guys, man. Not old guys like me and Steve, man. We need these young guys on there. We need the next generation. You were talking earlier about how soft these new baseball players are. Zach, you were flipping out over it, man. We need these boxers. We need these young guys, the combat sports guys, to carry the softness of the new baseball players. You were ranting about that earlier. I know you weren't happy about that.
The kid grounded out to the shortstop and then was crying as he went back to the dugout. Like, you're fucking 11. What are you crying about? Because you grounded out? Like, I swear to God, if my 11-year-old cried after grounding out, I'm going to rip his ass off the field and we're going home. Like, you're just not fucking playing baseball no more. The hell is wrong with these kids? Jesus Christ.
Not a freaking clue. But hey,
the one kid got hit with the little pick-off attempt. It hit him in the arm, and he was crying, Steven.
Chance to really kind of give you guys my thought on the poll question that I put up. Chuck's is with me here. And this is kind of the premise I'm going with it too. Look, no one's going to tell you that AI wasn't special, that he was not an electrifying guy to watch. Bob was already alluding to the fact that, not just that fact, but the fact that this team is that exciting with no fans in the stands. You're doing that with no fans in the stands. So,
see, I didn't take that into consideration.
The poll question is: this year's Sixers squad is more fun to watch, not better, not more talented, just more fun to watch than the 2001 Sixers that Allen Iverson took to the NBA Finals. And Chucks had kind of gotten to it right there with the fact that we're talking about there was Allen Iverson, Dikembe Mutombo, and a bunch of Rec City, guys that just basically hang around the gym. So
Aaron McKee won Sixth Man of the Year award that year. Let's give him some credit.
And then what did he do after that or before that?
Well, I mean, he had a decent career. He was just never anything more than a bench player. I mean,
but listen, that's what he was. You were getting out of him what was already expected of him, right? Okay. Let's break this down to the point where you look at it. We're looking at a whole team here. So
yeah,
we can name people on this bench. Can you remember names off of that 01 bench that is?
Absolutely. I might be able to name you the whole fucking team.
Okay.
I mean, I got names like George Lynch for you and shit like that. I mean, George Lynch was our power forward. Yeah, I mean, that team was special. I mean, and I mean, I understand but the argument that Chucks is making, I think, is more like, well, this year's team's got better players. Yeah, but that doesn't make that we're asking who's more fun to watch. To me, Ben Simmons is an elite all-around player, but I don't consider him fun to watch. I consider him that's a great fundamental basketball player right there, and you need guys like that to go win championships. The only guy on this team I look at and say is fun to watch is Embiid.
Play with a bunch of scrubs and watching Joel Embiid.
Embiid is fun to watch.
The best center of the last 20 years.
Embiid is fun to watch, sure.
The best offensive player in the NBA right now, probably maybe 2 years.
I'll give you that 01 Sixers team.
Harris, and you have Seth Curry, and we saw. I mean, it got to the fact that that there's some more guys on this bench that could start in other places, and you still. That's
irrelevant to me. You didn't say.
I stayed up nights, got in trouble, missed school projects watching that team. But guess what?
They were more exciting. That's what. No, they were more exciting. What you just said is what matters. You said we're not asking the question of who's better. We're asking who was more exciting. That 2001 team, you want a comparison about how fun they were? Steven, you remember that 93 Phillies team? Right? That's for me, that the 01 Sixers team was that you had a couple really good players, a bunch of dudes that were absolute scrubs, but it all fit so well together, and they had a ton of fun fucking play. You can't tell me watching Dikembe Mutombo shake his finger at people, yeah, shit like that. The idea that Allen was the only guy fun to watch on that team, that whole team, as bad as Eric Snow was, that year, that team as a group was fun to watch.
Let's get to the game, guys, because it's crunch time. Colin Sexton just made a three-pointer to put Cleveland up 2, and then Joel Embiid just with a monster slam to tie the game. And the Sixers have possession of the ball. No, they don't. Cleveland does. We're coming for a landing, fellas. 117. We're tied at 92 here. Colin Sexton from 3, and it's off. And Sixers have the ball. Tie game. All right, we got a shot here. 106. Tie game.
Ben's got the ball.
92.
Who's going to
sing down? We'll see who makes the big play here.
Go back to Joe. Let's see if Danny Green can do anything. I don't know about that.
No call. Sexton is on the break. These are the games that that tear your stomach up if you're a big Sixers fan, because it comes down to the end. We haven't had many games like that this year. Most Sixers games have been decided by more than one possession. What a big block by Danny Green.
Nice play to rebound from that whatever that attempt was on the other end of the floor.
Nice clean block.
Laid a bucket.
All right, we got a timeout on the floor. 27 seconds left. The Sixers will get a final look, even if Cleveland scores, because they have 5 seconds left on the shot clock. So this is one of those ass tightener games here. You know what I mean, Zach? It's one of those ass tighteners. You know what I mean? Coming down to the final shot of the game.
I've been in part of too many close games. My ass doesn't clench anymore when we get in those moments.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, you know what? This is right here where we see, where times like this in a game is where a coach can mean a lot. So there's 27 seconds left, and this is where coaching is magnified. We'll see, what Doc Rivers comes up with for defense, and then, maybe he's going to have his defensive team out there and they get possession and they'll do a timeout, and the offensive guys out there, we shall see. It's, they say basketball coaches really don't have a huge impact on games, and a lot of times they don't. But in situations like this, when it is one possession, is where coaching really is important, and calling the right play and getting the right guys on the court. So we'll see if the Sixers can pull this out. It'd be a terrible loss if they lose this game at home against this team.
Doc Rivers, great coach. Larry Brown was more exciting. He was more fun to watch.
Yeah, Larry, listen, he was. I mean, Larry Brown was more animated. Doc's more professional. Doc's more of a gentleman.
I'll give you that one, my friend. I'll give you Larry Brown was more fun to watch.
It's called the whole package. Like, you had to just look at the whole package that year. Like, yeah, I know there was a bunch of scrubs on that team, but you can't act like that whole group. It was just fun. It was a whole new level, a whole other level of fun we had never seen with the Sixers at any other point.
Sixers held. They held 6 seconds to a bad 3-point shot, and we got a timeout. Like I said, 16.5 Sixers with the last possession and the ball.
Seconds left.
They'll have a chance to win the game on a walk-off right here. The Sixers will. So
who you want to take the shot, Bob?
Come on, is there anybody else?
Ben Simmons.
You really need to answer me. You get the ball to the MVP, to number 21, and you clear it out. If they double team him, he's not. Listen, one of the best things about Joel Embiid this year is passing out of the double team has been much better.
Seth Curry off the screen and let him hit a three.
Who's that?
All the attention will be on Embiid.
Yeah, it will be. So if they're going to double, listen, if you're coaching clear right now, you're saying double Embiid makes somebody else beat you. So that may happen.
Our resident Cowboys fan is back.
I mean, that's why you're supposed to add all these perimeter shooters, right? For a situation like this.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of them. You can roll them off screens, find somebody with an open look. There's going to be all this attention on Embiid. And if they somehow, don't put enough attention on him because they're worried about a shooter, then you go to Embiid down in the low block where he's one-on-one in a mismatch.
I'm
not even watching the game, and I can tell you right now, that sounds like a hell of a play. Throw it up. You like that one, Bob?
Zach, I love it, man. It's like you're in the huddle with the coach and the team, man. You gotta get you a funnel in there. Yo, listen to Zach. Zach's calling the play. And Embiid knows he's getting the ball. I can tell right now, just looking at him, he's comfortable. We'll find out what Doc drew up. Here we go. 16.5.
Well, he's probably going to take some stupid fadeaway shot, though. Like, Embiid, he's not going to, muscle up and bully somebody inside. He's going to take some type of stupid
Simmons has the ball at the top of the key. They're going with Simmons to Curry to Embiid.
Has the
4 seconds left. Embiid with the fadeaway, and he misses. We're going to overtime, fellas.
Embiid with the fadeaway, and he misses.
It was a fadeaway.
Embiid the fadeaway, and he missed it. What did I just say 20 seconds ago? I said he's not going to go bully somebody inside. He's going to do some type of stupid fadeaway jumper.
Yes, you did say that. I thought they waited too long to get him the ball, Nicholas. But anyway, he got the ball, and he really only had 2 seconds to act. He really didn't have much time to do anything. I thought they waited too long to get it to him right there. Like I said, by the time they got it to him, he had 2 seconds. He really couldn't do anything else.
They couldn't muscle anybody up.
I don't know.
If they got him the ball at 5 or 6 seconds, he could have muscled somebody up inside.
Have we had any other overtime games this year that you guys can recall? I don't even remember if we had any overtime games this year. Maybe one?
One, at least.
Was there? Okay, well.
I think we've at least had one.
Okay. Check out what the stats are for the game heading into overtime, because we got 5 more minutes of basketball.
Now, see, that seems like – I feel like with this lineup, this current Sixers team, that should be – if you're going to overtime to play a 5-minute period, that should favor the Sixers every single time.
I agree.
I feel like for a 5-minute stretch, If you can't go kick every single, like, there shouldn't be a team in the NBA that this group here couldn't go kick somebody's ass for 5 minutes. Like, just give me 5 minutes of kicking somebody's ass. And I don't feel like there's any team in basketball that should be able to, like, stick with this group, with this 5.
Well, our defense, their defense was good tonight. They gave 92 points, but they just didn't shoot the ball well. We'll see if they can make up for it in overtime. But they didn't really shoot well from three-point land. Korkmaz 1 for 5 from 3. Seth Curry, awful tonight, 1 for 7 from 3. Danny Green was 3 for 8, and then the bench 1 for 1 for Scott, 1 for 1 from Thibault. So really, what killed you tonight was Korkmaz and Curry both having bad nights from 3, but they can still pull this out in overtime. Now, Steph Curry, listen, since he's
not
come
playing?
Back, who's that?
Is Tyrese Maxey not playing? What's been the deal with
Tyrese
him?
Maxey did get some time in the 4th period, I believe. He played 7 minutes, and he was scoreless in 7 minutes. He's been getting jerked in and out of the lineup. It's hard for that young guy to have confidence, but when you're a young guy like that and you're on a champion team that wants to win the championship, they really can't afford you making mistakes as a young player. So, unfortunately, I think Maxey's going to be a great player in the future, but he needs some more time.
I just don't know if it's worth, like, I'm not, like, this idea of playing Seth Curry and Danny Green over him, like, this much. Just, yeah, I get it. Like, they're great role players, but I don't, like, dude, like, get the kid on the fucking floor. Like, give me a break. Like,
especially
he has to work on his jumper.
Playing on offense, I get, like, having Danny's defensive presence, but the upside of having Maxey on the floor has to be.
Maxey's a hard worker, Bob. So any of these issues, like, he needs to work on this, he needs to improve at that. Well, yeah, no kidding. That's why I want him on the fucking floor.
This is basketball, not football. He's not a quarterback. You don't need to hold him with kid gloves like Eddie's a rookie and all that. But come on,
yeah, get him his minute. I mean, we it'd be one thing if we were worried, like, we know the kid's going to develop because we've heard from Calipari and we've seen firsthand, like, the work ethic that the kid has, right? We've heard all the stories about his shoot-around routines and all that. So for me, the idea of he needs to work on this, he needs to work on that, sure he does, just like any young player. But this is a kid I know, you give him the minutes, you give him the opportunity to go work on the things and improve on them. He's taken every possible opportunity he can to improve on those things. He just needs to get out there and do it. Like, I don't know. Like, it bothers me a little bit that, like, the kid's got all this upside. He's got all this, we rave about his work ethic and how, all those things. And it's like, they just don't want to pull the trigger on giving him playing time because I don't know if they're worried, like, they want Green to have an established role as a leader out there or something like that. Maybe I kind of get this feeling that Danny Green's like an established veteran that they really like his leadership presence, but I don't know. You tell me Simmons, Maxey, and Embiid on the floor together at the same time.
Maxey only had an abbreviated college season and 2-week training camp, and he's a one-and-done guy. So, Doc is a lot of fans in my group, 76th Street, they want Maxey playing like you do, but other guys realize, he's young, going to make mistakes. His jumper still needs work. His nuts are ahead of him for sure. He's going to be a stud, but I got to go with the coach on this one. Now.
I just feel like that's the league. Like, everybody's coming in one and done, very inexperienced, going through their growing pains. Like, that's why I figured Danny Green and Seth Curry are here. So you've got people who are like, hey, we can rotate all 3 of you, and it can be a really, really good trio of guys. It just seems like Maxey is almost getting thrown to the wayside of all that. Like, well, we're not even. There is no trio here. Those 2 are splitting minutes, and you're kind of on the outside looking in. Like, why can't the 3 of them split minutes? On the floor, and whenever Simmons needs a breather or whatever, you've also got another opportunity to keep Maxey on the floor or get Curry on the floor at the same time or whatever. Like, I feel like there's a lot of creativity there that you're kind of missing out on from an offensive perspective. But
well, I think they're going to. I think Tyrese Maxey has a great future, but I just think it's not this year. You're going to see. I think the Sixers are going to make a move. I think they're going to make a move, and they're going to add somebody who's going to push him back even further in the rotation because they want to go with experience. I mean, that's just the way I see it this year. Like I said, I'm not putting Tyrese Maxey down. I think he's a future starter in the league. I think he's a future starter in this league that could average 20 points a night. But I just don't think they think he's ready or his jump shot's ready. But like you said, Zach, he works his nuts off in the gym, and as soon as this season's over, he's going to be in the gym shooting that jumper, getting better. And I think he's going to be have a great career eventually.
I mean, I think he can be. I think he's going to be a future All-Star. I mean, I think the guy's like a complete player, but I feel if you don't think he's ready right now, I mean, I get what you're saying. They don't want to let him go through the growing pains at the risk of it hurting the basketball team now. So they'd rather, just let it be. Okay, we'll develop him at our pace, and we've got guys that we're confident in Green and Curry, and that's the reason they were brought in here to fit the role that they're playing. So I mean, I get it. I'm not happy about it, Bob, but I get it. I get what you're saying.
Sixers were down 5. Thankfully, Joel Embiid just made a bucket and 1, so they're down 3 with a chance to cut it to 2. That was their first bucket and with a big block from Joel on the defensive end. He hustled down the court and he got the layup and a foul, so Sixers are right back in it.
Nice.
Yes. He's Embiid with 32 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists, 10 of 19 from the field. So, Sixers are down 2 with 3:08 left in overtime, Zach. So,
there we go.
Is it a problem, Bob, that it seems like Embiid has to do this every night for the Sixers to have a chance to win? Like it almost seems like
Bench hasn't showed up.
supposed to be added to this team should be the case. Like,
listen,
it's nice
what you're saying makes sense. What you're saying makes sense. I mean, a lot of nights Embiid is doing it, and like tonight, without Tobias Harris, who has a knee contusion, you're going to rely on your stars a little bit more as the Sixers turn the ball over, down 4 to Cleveland with the ball, up 4 with 2:39 left in overtime. So the Sixers are going to have to bear down on defense here. But yeah, listen, Zach, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, we got to hope he stays healthy. One of the biggest, critiques of Joel Embiid throughout his career is his inability to stay on the court. This year, he's done a good job of it. He's only missed 5 games so far, but without a doubt, what you're saying, and we need him to be healthy for the playoffs. We got to hope that, he doesn't wear himself out, like you're saying, having to carry the team every night. So,
yeah, it just seems like he should be able to go take a seat, and it's like, hey, that's fine. This guy,
even uglier. How the hell do you?
Seth Curry's killing this team. Thank God Embiid got fouled on a rebound, but Seth Curry can't hit the broadside of a barn right now.
And it was
Simmons dropped 42 that night, right? The night that Embiid was out recently, right? Simmons had his career high 42, and we still found a way to lose, right? Like, how do those things happen? How does Embiid sit? Ben Simmons scores a career high 42 points. And with Curry and Green and everything else that's supposed to be the complementary pieces on this team, you still can't go win a basketball game. That's concerning. Like, to me, I think that's the biggest concern I have with this team right now. He's the catalyst, and if they find a way to take Embiid out the game, or he's banged up a little bit or whatever, and it has to be the rest of the team coming together and playing team basketball to win, they haven't quite shown the ability to do that yet.
Well, we're Ben Simmons at the line with the Sixers down 4 and 2 minutes left. So we need Ben to make these free throws, 2-point game here.
He'll make 1 or 2.
I see Leonard is complaining about Howard. Listen, Leonard, right now I think a buyout tonight an opportunity to add a big man, but there's no way the Sixers will trade for a big man. Dwight Howard is more than what he brings you on the court. He's one of the team leaders, and he helps his team a lot in the locker room. So they may add another center that can shoot from the outside, but I also think they want to add a guard or a stretch 4 before they want to add another center.
They weren't going to bring in a
when you get to the playoffs. What's that?
They weren't going to bring in Boogie Cousins?
No, Boogie Cousins. Boogie Cousins is 36%. He can't guard. He can't defend you, Zach. You're taking it to the hoop on Boogie Cousins and putting him in his eye. Seriously, man, come on.
He can body somebody up inside, though, and jam on you. I mean, it's like, hey, he might be able to dominate next to Embiid and Simmons.
1 for 2 for Simmons, and so the Sixers are down 3. Let's go. Let's play some defense here.
3 minutes.
2 minutes left, down 3.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, listen, Seth Curry is if he would make a couple buckets, the Sixers would be winning the game.
Left everything out there against Dallas the other night, or
I'll tell you what.
I don't know.
Seth Curry You want to know what I think of Seth? Seth Curry couldn't be a pimple on his brother's ass. That's what I think of Seth Curry, okay?
Nice little dish from Ben.
Yeah, they called a foul on Ben, and Shake makes the 3, and they call a foul on Ben, which I thought was terrible. They're saying Ben set an illegal screen and denied the 3-point play, 3-point shot. So got a D up again. They got to pull this out. Sixers, let's go.
We're about to lose this game. Holy crap.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Yeah, this like I said, this would be a bad loss at home to one of the worst. I think Cleveland may have the worst record in the league in the East. They do, I think, but they're one of the worst teams in the league for sure.
You can't beat Cleveland at home, and we're talking championships, Bob.
Yeah.
We're a championship, and we can't even beat Cleveland at home.
Absolutely right, Zach.
Daryl Morey on the phone, Zach. Daryl Morey on the phone, working the trade deadline coming up. You don't have phones, Daryl. We need to add a couple people, right?
Can I get Bradley Beal?
Oh, no, it's impossible. Washington, you don't have, unless you want to trade Ben Simmons, you're not getting Bradley Beal. You're not going to trade Ben Simmons at this point. That age difference is you don't really want to give up that 5 or 6 years in age. And listen, the Sixers got it tough, man. We're down 5, Zach. We're down 5 at 117. Sixers call timeout, so this is going to be a tough to pull this game out, man. They got to get a score on this possession and play defense.
You don't think 2 firsts and Tyrese Maxey gets it?
No. Nope. I don't think Washington wants a trade deal. I mean, if they did, if Beal was my player, I wouldn't trade him without you giving me Ben Simmons. I mean, if they want to go into full rebuild, I'd give them however many first rounders they want and whatever guys on the bench they want. But I don't know.
Like I said, why would they have Ben Simmons, though? They want to pay him that money?
Hey, listen, you're trading one of the best players in the league. I mean, Bradley Beal is one of the best 10 players in the league. I mean, you want to get as much as you can for him if you decide to trade him. But
Simmons needs to play with a scorer. So if they trade Simmons for Beal, now they don't have a scorer.
Simmons don't fit with Westbrook. I agree that Simmons don't fit with Westbrook. They wouldn't want Tobias Harris because Tobias' age. I mean, if they trade Beal, it's because they want to go young. They would probably want Maxey, Thibault, if they wanted to trade him. Maxey, Thibault, contract filler, and 3 or 4 first-round draft picks.
And they could have that. I mean, to me, that's a good deal for the Sixers. Fuck that. I don't need those.
I agree, but I don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think Washington wants to do it. I'm with you. If you can give me Bradley Beal with this current team, and we keep Simmons in and beating Harris, all in. But I don't think Washington wants to do it. It has to make sense for them too.
You think Kyle Lowry might be making more sense right now? You think that's more of a possibility?
I like Kyle Lowry. I'd love to see that deal happen, but I don't know. Like I said, all these rumors, you don't know if Toronto wants to trade him or if they want somebody else or what they want for him. He makes the Sixers better. He definitely makes the Sixers better.
Has he lost his spot up there in Toronto? To my knowledge, I know he's been losing playing time to guys like Van Fleet and shit, right?
Well, listen, Zach, he had a 20-point triple-double last night, Kyle Lowry. He had like 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists. So,
I still think he's a really good player. I just didn't know if he was playing like 40 minutes a night for them anymore or what the deal was. Like, they might be cool with moving on from him because they feel like they've got, hey, like we're already going in a new direction.
Don said the Pistons. Don said the Pistons got the worst record in the East. So, I'm sure Cleveland's not far behind them, Don. They both stink.
They both stunk for a long time, too. Like,
well, the Sixers got to get a defensive stop here.
They need to stop.
This is do or die now. This is do or die right now. They're down 4.
Turnover,
a minute left.
Stop for turnovers. The only thing that's going to win you this game.
Dude, Luka Doncic is killing.
Oh, come on. They gave up an offensive rebound. That's terrible.
Can't let them get the offensive rebounds. It just cannot happen. And then
this game's over. They're down. It's 42 seconds left, down 6. That offensive rebound killed them. This game is just about over. The Sixers are going to need a miracle. Embiid needs to make this 3, and he does. Oh my God! Embiid makes the 3 with 37 seconds left. What a monster!
Joe.
Jesus Christ! Sixers are down 3 to need a stop.
Team.
Embiid is just too good, man.
They got Danny Green for a
Stupid
reason.
foul by Danny Green. Stupid foul by Danny Green. You didn't need a foul there. You needed to play defense and get a stop.
You mean Danny Green, the veteran leader that was supposed to be the guy that came in here?
That's reaching, no doubt. No doubt.
Now you're putting them on the free throw line, which you didn't need to do. You needed to play defense. That play that Danny Green just made there was an embarrassment. You don't make that play as a veteran. And he's arguing with the referee, and it was such a bad foul. It was so obvious. He looks like a jackass arguing with the referee over it. You clearly smashed the guy. You shouldn't have done it. Now you put the team in a bad spot. Terrible play by Danny Green. That's the position we need to upgrade, Zach. He's got to go.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were excited for Danny Green at the beginning of the season just because of the defense we knew he was going to bring. But,
that's just awful.
So does that mean Maxey gets Green's playing time, or what happens there?
I think they're going to make a trade.
Oh, that was
Game's over. Not good, guys. Game's over. Cleveland got the rebound. They're up 5. We had to foul them. Danny Green blew any chance they had of pulling this out, fouling those up 3 with a useless foul. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But it goes on to me. The loss more goes on Seth Curry than anybody tonight. He was dreadful from the field. Seth Curry, let's see. Seth Curry with 4 points tonight. Okay, he played 33 minutes. He had 4 points and 2 assists, and he shot 1 for 12 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3. That's your loss right there. Seth Curry, if he even has an average game tonight, you win the game. Seth Curry was just god-awful tonight, and one of the main reasons the Sixers didn't pull it out.
People to be average, Bob, and they can't even be average.
And Embiid with another 3 now has 33 points.
Think about it, Bob. We literally brought the guy in, and the expectations were, well, he's just average for us. And he can't even be fucking average.
Tonight he wasn't. Early in the season, he was on fire. He got the COVID. He came back. He had a couple of good games, but he's been really inconsistent since the first few weeks of the season. Extremely inconsistent.
Absolutely
I agree with that, Mega Bear.
Green is an absolute moron for that one. Mega Bear.
I agree with that. I agree, Mega Bear. That was a terrible foul.
I think early in the year, Seth Curry and Steph Curry had somehow swapped bodies and skill sets and all that. And Steph was what the hell happened to Steph Curry? And then 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the year, all of a sudden Steph Curry's playing at an MVP level again. And it's they figured it out. It was a weird thing where they just
world's realigned and they found each other's correct bodies.
Yeah, it's like the Space Jam movie where they somehow cut the talents all fucked up. The games had to fix it.
Oh well, I guess I'm the bad luck guy. I'm not allowed to be back on the show anymore after the Sixers lose a terrible loss like this.
Man, you're always welcome. You're out of your
Thomas
mind.
Arno, don't ban me, Tom. Go, Tom. Don't ban me, Tom.
Did you not hear what he said, bro?
What's that?
My guy in the top right needs to be a head coach.
Hey, listen, man. I'm an amateur coach, man. It's easy to do it when you're here watching it on TV. It's a whole different experience in there. You know what I mean? But I appreciate the shout out, Tom. Believe me.
You think a guy like a Buddy Hield's available?
Games? You know the guy you see in the Sixers games, the sixth man they call him. He has the beard. He's always there right by the bench. That's the job I want. I don't want the coach. I want to be right there by the bench cheering on the team.
That sounds like I could be that guy.
Hell yeah, man. We can party all night, Zach.
Beard. Buddy Hield, have the rumors calmed down? Any of I know Buddy Hield was a hot name early in the year. Has anything come about with the idea of maybe Buddy Hield being a guy that they look to trade for?
You know what? I don't know if they would want Buddy or not, because Buddy is more of just a shooter. I don't know. I mean, he makes a lot of money for just a shooter. I mean, and Sacramento was having a terrible year, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to shake it up. I mean, would I take Buddy? I don't know. Depends what you got to give up for him.
I'll tell you what.
I mean, it's another shooter. Don't get me wrong; he would improve the team, but it all depends. I don't want to give up Tyrese Maxey unless it's for somebody like Beal or Levine. So, what do you got to give up to get him, though?
Levine,
I'm with you.
not Levine, not Levine.
I actually don't like. I don't think Zach LaVine's a complete enough player for me to want to go. I don't think it's much of an upgrade. But
Danny Green, like a second rounder just to get a shooter.
I'm with you there. I'll tell you what, I do want to see the Buddy Hield thing happen for one reason and one reason only, and that's because one of my old high school teachers, that's the high school basketball coach at my old high school, we done a lot of work for him with HUD radio and like play-by-play and stuff. He's a huge Oklahoma Sooner fan, and he to this day will argue with you up and down that Buddy Hield is the best player from that draft class. And remember, that was the draft class with Ben Simmons and Ingram and Murray. Jamal Murray was in that, and Pascal Siakam from Toronto was in that draft class. So you had all these guys in that draft class. He swears Buddy Hield is the best player from that draft class. And he won't let it go. Like, he really won't. And, like, I just want to see him have, like, one of his nerdgasms if we traded for Buddy Hield and brought him to Philadelphia.
Oh, my gosh.
True story.
I guess we're.
Well, it's a 3-point game. We got a 3-point game. Cleveland has the ball. The timeout. So
You gonna bounce back?
What happened?
I was asking Bob, what does he think? What does he think about tomorrow's game? We bounce back.
We got a back-to-back tomorrow. I know the Flyers have a matinee tomorrow. Who do the Sixers have on the calendar, Steve? I work all day today, delivering bills and junk mail to people. Who we got tomorrow?
Let me double check that. I knew that they were on tomorrow. Let's see. No, it's not. It's Monday against the Pacers.
Yeah.
Our favorite team.
Hey, well, listen. After losing this game, you're going to be tied with the Nets. We had been in first place the entire year. The Nets we now have the same amount of losses. If we can't pull this game out and get a steal here, we can't pull this game out, then we're going to be tied with the Nets. They're going to have the same amount of losses. So we're in jeopardy of losing the number 1 seed. As the Sixers fail on the inbounds and have to hope they miss some free throws to have a chance in this game.
Yeah, you got to hope for some missed free throws for sure right here.
Yeah.
As we get into this last segment here, real quick, get our sponsor out of the way, and this last segment is brought to you by Body Check Wellness. And obviously, Body Check Wellness is a line of products that promotes wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. And they come in extract blends, gummies, and topicals. Use promotional code A2D for 20% off your order at bodycheckwellness.com. Let's get back to the last 16 seconds here for the Sixers. Cleveland's at the line, 109, 105. It's and that's 110, 105 now. 16.6 to go. Don't see the Sixers doing anything here. What about you?
Well, they need a miracle. Embiid fouled on a 3-pointer, so they still have life. Fouled on a 3-pointer, he makes all 3 of these. You're down 2. If you don't get a steal, you foul them and have to hope they miss a field goal. I mean, they're still an opportunity. It's not a good one. It's on the line now. We're only going to give him 2 free throws, which is critical in this situation here. That would have been much bigger if he was behind the 3-point line.
No way. You're not going to make up 5 points in 10.4 seconds.
Yeah, well, if he had three free throws and made them all, it might have been a shot. But like I said, his foot was on the line, so he's only getting 2. I mean, in this situation, you might almost want to miss it and try to get an offensive rebound. Like you said, with 10 seconds, you need something crazy to happen to pull this out.
You need to hit a 3 and get fouled.
And he did. He missed it on purpose, but Cleveland got the rebound. I called it, Steve. He missed it on purpose, but they got the rebound.
Not allow them to get these rebounds. What is going on with this guy? This team, not Joe. Like
okay,
Are we not boxing out to get control of the paint? What's going on here? Unbelievable. So you're gonna want to lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers here. Unbelievable. Like I said, you have to win the games you're supposed to, and you can't choke it up on games like this. Especially if you want to be one of these teams that are going to be considered, top teams in the East, right?
Yeah, listen, you were without Harris. You needed guys to step up, and Embiid stepped up. Curry, once again, Curry with a terrible game, 1 for 12, scored 4 points. I mean, you need more from that, from your starting 2 guard or point guard, whatever you want to call them. You got to get more when you're paying 35 or 36 minutes a night, and you're supposed to score 4 points. Isn't cutting it, especially when your second leading scorer is out of game, is not playing. So I think. I mean, listen, it's a team game. You have to blame everybody, but when you look at the stats, the guy who killed the team the most tonight was Seth Curry.
Holy crap! Add insult to injury at this point in time.
Hey, listen. Well, you know what? Maybe they'll bounce back and play better against Indiana now. But Steph Curry has to find his stroke again. He has just been terribly inconsistent, and like I said, you can't shoot like shit like he did tonight. He's a much better player than that. It was just a poor performance.
What do you think? You think the Sixers are going to have?
I like shooting the shit, Bob. Oh, that's
What's
what
that?
you said. I said I like shooting the shit though, but I was trying to make a joke and seemed like it went over.
Right. And listen, the Sixers are going to make a deal, whether it's at the trade deadline. I think they will make a deal at the trade. Ben Simmons hits a 3-pointer with 2 seconds left. They're down 3. Oh my God!
Oh, what a great time! Finally, Ben. Now you choose to shoot a fucking 3-pointer.
And the game's over. They lose by 3. Simmons makes it at the buzzer. The Sixers lose by 3, 112-109.
Is that not the most 2021 thing ever?
And this team is more fun to watch than the 2001 team. I rest my case.
42 points from Embiid wasted tonight. He had a big game, 42, 13 boards.
42 points you've ever seen in your life. Like, it was like literally the most miserable 42 point. Like, you're like, oh, this fucking sucks. Like,
well, because we don't have the flashy point guard. You're not happy.
I'm just saying. I think it's a little.
The other side of it
I think it's a little.
How exciting some of these guys are off the court. How much fun they are off the court. Our access that we have.
Now, if we're playing that game, you can't top Allen Iverson in anything that Allen did off the court. Okay, let's be honest.
You off and start running your gums.
There's nothing that any of these dudes could do. No. There's not any of these dudes could do off the court. First of all, it's going to top Allen's practice press conference. Okay, we'll start there. But I could literally name like 9 other things. We can make a top 10.
I'm sorry. I think Joe can give Allen a run for his money.
We could make a top 10 Allen Iverson moment list. Literally, that dude's got a lifetime of moments. That, like, these dudes, you might have a handful with these guys, and Allen by himself had a lifetime full of moments. Ask Tom about partying with Allen Iverson at the casino and playing blackjack and going up and partying in Allen's hotel room. I'm hoping we're allowed to tell that story because I just did. But ask Tom about some of Allen's, how fun Allen was away from the court.
Oh, I know. No. I got one for you. So, you want to drop an Allen story like that? I got you for it. So I had a friend of mine who used to date a girl who was to run the front desk at Inn of the Dove, right? One night I get a phone call like, "Yo, you guys got to come over." I'm like, "Why?" She said, just go over here. So me and my buddy, we go over there. Big ass limo in front. I'm like, "What's up?" She's like, "Allen Iverson's out there with a bunch of girls." I'm like, "A bunch of girls, huh?"
He's not chasing a Kardashian or Rihanna. He's just got a fucking giant sex orgy going on in the back of a limo. That's what real pimps do. These kids have no idea. They go, "Oh, it's fun. I'm chasing Rihanna and fucking a Kardashian." That's not fun. Okay.
Hey, listen.
You're not having fun until you break into your own property like drunk at 2 a.m. trying to beat up your wife because she locked you out. Like, don't we got plenty of Allen stories, the good and the bad and the ugly, right, in Philadelphia. And I don't know if any of these dudes on this team could top anything, the good, the bad, or the ugly that Allen was a part of.
I guess we'll have to be of different minds of this. I still think as much fun as that 2001 team was, I still think there's aspects of this that makes this team.
There's aspects of it now. There's aspects of it now. What the hell? We just watched Ben Simmons score 42 points career high and we lost. We just watched Embiid score 42 points tonight and we lost. I mean, this is fun. This is one of the most irritatingly and frustrating Sixers teams that we've maybe seen in a long time. Tons of potential. I still think they're going to make a deep playoff run. But shit like this, I mean, it can't happen. You can't lose to Cleveland at home. That's what you did when Brett Brown was your head coach. You can't do that shit anymore. Like that's not like no. Like this was supposed to been done over, and like Doc Rivers came in here and that's
I actually forgot about something I got to ask Bob about. I got to ask Bob about this one, and we need to have a discussion about this. So we've been seeing a lot of these nonsense super fights that are going on, right? So what do you think about Frank Mir coming back and saying he's gonna freaking box Antonio Tarver?
Oh, man, is that what's going on? I just watched Tarver fight Roy Jones Jr. the other night on YouTube.
Hey, listen.
I love Frank.
Frank Mir. Listen, he was a great mixed martial artist, but I think Tarver comes in shape, I don't think Frank Mir has a chance. But, Frank Mir when he fought,
here's the thing,
he was a great fighter because of his jiu-jitsu, Steve. He's a great ground guy.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, what's that?
I said, go ahead.
I think Frank Mir is going to not do too well in boxing. I mean, he's a great jiu-jitsu fighter, and I don't know how much he's been working on his boxing, but when you go in there when you can't kick or you can't take a guy down and you're in there, listen, boxing's different. Just like a boxing guy is going to get smashed in a cage. Most MMA guys will lose in the boxing ring if you're in there with somebody who's an established guy. Tarver is older. We don't know what kind of shape he's in, but I don't expect Frank Mir to have too much success there.
Well,
what about you, Steve?
He better hope Mason the Line Dixon shows up, not Antonio Tarver, because that's the only way he has a chance in this fight.
Oh man.
I'm with you. Listen, he's probably doing it to challenge himself.
Listen,
at this point, are we even confident that Frank Mir could beat Mason the Line Dixon in a boxing match at this point? I don't even know if we can I might throw money on Mason the Line Dixon in that one. I really might.
I'll always be a team Mir guy. Frank has always been my guy, but Frank's strong suit has always been his grappling. His signature thing is snapping people's bones, not knocking people out. Though he was the first person to knock out Nogueira. That being said, no, you should not be boxing anybody on Antonio Tarver's level. I mean, if one of these like if Lamar Odom loses his fight against Aaron Carter, yeah, step in and take that fight.
He needs to go fight that Jake Paul guy, right? That you
beat up by Antonio Tarver, and I love Frank Mir.
Frank needs to step in and go fight. What is it? Aaron Paul, Jake Paul, whoever that YouTuber is. That's that he fought the one day he knocked out Nate Robinson, and now he wants.
I'm so mad about that is they cherry picked the MMA fighter and found the worst striking MMA fighter they could possibly find walking the United States.
Oh man, what's it? What's his name? Paul wants to fight Mayweather or whatever it is, right?
I'll take our guest tonight, Bazooka Joe Stripling, over both of those guys, over Frank Mir and Antonio Tarver, because even though he's a kickboxer, Muay Thai, he also does a lot of boxing. I'll think Joe Stripling has a better chance to beat Antonio Tarver than Frank Mir does.
And like I said, love Frank. Hope his daughter continues to ascend and grow in mixed martial arts. I don't know who's in Frank's management corner, but Can we talk him out of this? Can somebody just train extremely hard with him and he has to pull out or something? Because like I don't want to watch this.
So hold on. So if Bob, am I missing something here? But they're talking. They're having a tribute all of a sudden to Leon Spinks on the PBC broadcast. He died apparently, and I'm just hearing about it now. How long ago was that?
That was earlier in the month.
That was a while ago, weeks or months ago. I mean, it happened a while back.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not something that happened just recent. That's a couple months old, I believe.
Yeah,
Leon Spinks.
I guess
Let me Google that real quick and see when it happened because now you got me.
Within the calendar year, but yeah, it was. Gonna miss him. Another one gone too soon and all that fun stuff. But as we get ready to wrap things up here, and Sixers lost now 0-2 against the Cleveland Cavaliers is utter nonsense. Don't care what anyone says, but appreciate Bob for hopping on here. We've been trying to get this thing situated, for a while now between scheduling and everything else, and we're finally able to get you on here. Want to kind of quick throw it over to you to kind of anyone you want to thank. I guess for the MMA enthusiasts who might want to check out what you guys are doing. Let them know where to find you, where to keep up with everything you're doing, and time's yours, my friend.
Thank you. I want to give shout outs to the promotions that I work with. I mean, first in Delaware, Brad Dalton at Stellar Fights has brought me on. He's like the man in Delaware. He's been promoting fights and providing the forum for fighters for over 10 years. I'm the ring announcer at Stellar Fights. I love working with Brad and the team there. Over in Pennsylvania, I work with Gary Grant for USKA, he takes care of all the rings and the cages. And I work with Gary. He's one of the best guys in the business, one of my favorite people. And then Art of War Cage Fighting, we're coming back May 22nd. I do commentary for Art of War Cage Fighting and go into the cage. Well, we don't know, hopefully. Do post-fight interviews, kind of like Joe Rogan role for them. And my man Eric, and I want to say shout out Mike Bickings and Deb Bickings, who have treated me like family at that promotion. And I really love working with that team. That's like a family atmosphere. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I'm glad we're coming back. And Eric Kowal at mymmanews.com, who is, listen, he's one of the best in the business. And he has provided me so many opportunities to talk to, UFC fighters, Bellator fighters, you name it. And I still love, my bread and butter has always been the regional fighter. Shout out to all the mixed martial artists out there, the young guys in the region, in the Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, who continue to work hard to try to achieve their dreams. And, I appreciate all the work you do, because without all that work and going to the cage and working hard, I wouldn't be able to enjoy what I do. So thanks to the whole MMA community, great people. And thanks for having me, Steve, Tom. It was a pleasure being on here. Great talking to you too, Zach. It was a pleasure.
We love you, brother. Like I said, it's long overdue. We've been trying to get this put together and get you situated to have you on here. And, we got you to not just talk an MMA segment, but, get on here, guest host with us, talk some Sixers. We got the interview with Joe. Obviously made it even cooler because, reunite the local MMA scene, both fighter and media alike reconnected here tonight. So it was definitely a fun one for us. Again, appreciate the time. You're always welcome here on. You want to talk some fights, you want to talk some sports, whatever. Let me know, brother. We'll run this one back.
Appreciate it.
All right, Bob. Appreciate it, and we'll catch up with you next time, man.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, that was Bob. This is getting down to the last few minutes here. I told Mr. Burr I would give him his time for his rants of the week. It is now time for Zach's rants of the week. Zach?
Well,
the floor.
I mean, I felt like, I thought we had to get off the air in a hurry, right? I mean, I don't think I only got like 1 minute. You're not really giving me a lot of time here, but
I was just letting you go in your thing.
Oh man, no, I always talk about umpiring, a bunch of baseball, travel baseball. But I said, there's the perfect game, right? So okay, I have the evidence. All right. I umpire a bunch of different travel baseball and different things like that, and I've got no idea what's happened since like when I was playing Little League, which really wasn't that long ago. You go back 15 years, and I was like in my final year of Little League. Right? Shouldn't be that long ago, but my God, if it isn't like night and day difference between how these kids are now and how the kids were when I played. They ground out to the shortstop and they're crying all the way back to the dugout and pop a ball up into the air and the kid doesn't catch it. And, it's like the end of the world to them. The coach says something to them and they yell back at the coach. The kid looks at 3 pitches right down the middle and gets called out on strikes. He goes back into the dugout and he's hitting the fence in the dugout with the bat. And I'm like, hell, if you would have swung the bat at the ball like that, we wouldn't be in this situation. These fucking kids are like out of their mind. They don't listen to nobody. They're emotional as hell. And then, like, on top of it, they fucking suck. Like, if we're just being honest, they suck. Like, oh my God. Like, what happened? Like, what happened to all the good baseball players? Like, do they not exist anymore? Jesus Christ. I just umpired 5 games today. It's the most frustrating thing ever. But hey, I made $250. So, can't pitch too much. What are these parents that come out and like beat their kids' ass? Like nobody beats their kids' ass anymore, Steven. For the most part, good Lord, like
there. But I want to wrap this one up. I believe the in this very ring, and the guys will be live here any second here. Wanted to again thank our guest this week, Joe Stripling, for his time this evening. Big shout out to him. Make sure you guys are tuning into UFC Fight Pass. To make sure you check him out there on March 12th for Lion Fights. Big shout out to Scott Kent, Scott. Make sure you're tuning into what Lion Fight is doing there. And again, we'll be back here next week. Got another fighter for Lion Fight lined up for us for the end of next week's show. I believe we should be back to a normal time next week at 4. We might contemplate moving times depending on how each and all of our availabilities are working out. You never know. We might be moving things around a little bit. But other than that, there's another fun one here in the books. I'm Steve. He's Zach. Make sure you're tuning in, following, subscribing, showing us love on all forms of social media, and we'll catch you.